Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was hoping you'd talk about the moment when you realized that the ones you collided with were, in fact, the ones you were trying to save.
Right, so it appears our escape
the odds
attempt
of us finding them in the first
collided
place
with
were
another escape
poor.
attempt and killed
I
everyone
sure as hell
on
didn't
board
expect to
of
run
the
into
other
them.
escape attempt.
I don't know. I mean, I never found out who was
Can't
in the
wait
other
for this
half
to
of the
be
wreck.
over.
Not alive, anyway.
Honestly, with the jets, you do have a fair bit of mobility. The crabs aren't that big of a threat, even though they are an insta-kill in wide open areas. You can get around them pretty easy. But in tunnels and shit, we gotta try and squeeze past them or just wait for their scripting to walk.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was hoping you'd talk about the moment when you realized that the ones you collided with were, in fact, the ones you were trying to save.
It was horrible. I mean, the odds of us finding them in the first place were poor. I sure as hell didn't expect to run into them. I don't know. I mean, I never found out who was in the other half of the wreck. Not alive, anyway.
And like another thing about it is, it's quite unclear the direction you need to go to progress, and the the mechanic that tells you you're going the wrong direction is just like a gust of water. I guess you'd call it a gust of water that pushes you back the direction you came. It's not immediately obvious that this is an indicator you're going in the wrong direction. In fact, some might take it that that gust of water is like a timing puzzle you need to beat to go into that direction. Ah, this game. Look, the graphics aren't bad, especially for a pretty old game. And the underwater settings are built okay, I guess, but fuck, it's tedious. It's just tedious and repetitive.
We were talking about protocol. By your own admission, there are instances where you didn't follow procedure. There's your radio and Cora. Granted, this was unprecedented. But as you said, second-guessing puts lives at risk. Do you think the outcome might have been better if you'd just followed the rules?
Well, it might, but there's no way to know that.
So you're lost and looking for some way out of all of this. And really your only option now is the other habitat, Compass 2. And what's most unsettling to me is you're in this dive suit. You call it a walking coffin. I can't even imagine what that takes.
It takes everything. But when you're losing your strength and your senses, well, like I said, it helps you focus on what little's left.
Oh, really? We have an endless puzzle now. A Devil May Cry, follow the wisp thing, endless puzzle. With limited oxygen.
Even setting that aside, so much about your... Even setting that aside, so much about your ordeal is almost beyond most people's comprehension. Were you ready for this? Or were you lucky?
No luck.
You mentioned possibilities. Does a part of you wonder where you'd be if you'd never gone down there in the first place?
Not really. I mean, that kind of thinking won't get you anywhere.
Even setting that aside, so much about your ordeal is almost beyond most people's comprehension. Were you ready for this? Or were you lucky?
No luck.
You mentioned possibilities. Does a part of you wonder where you'd be if you'd never gone down there in the first place?
Not really. I mean, that kind of thinking won't get you anywhere. I'm not proud of some of the things I did. But I'm not leaving anything out. I can't.
While I am running out of oxygen, I assure you, my rush here isn't because I'm running out of oxygen, it's to finish this game so I can stop playing it.
The last day of 3rd grade, we drive down to the dock. She points at her watch, tells me, close your eyes. She puts her hand on my chest, says, 10 seconds. And then I'm falling. I'm gonna drown. I mean, I'm sure of it. She's shouting, not to interfere. 10 seconds later, her hand's on mine, pulling me up. The next day we go again. Only now it's 15. I'm up all night watching the clock, trying to count 20 on the dot. I knew so long as I, hold out. 40 seconds, 45, she'd come. And one day she didn't. My first thoughts, maybe I messed up the count. My second thoughts, I'm on my own. I open my eyes and the sun's behind her. But I know that shape, it's familiar. Arms crossed, staring down at me. Anyway, by the time I climb onto the dock, she's already home.
Methane is a greenhouse gas, one of the most potent. Other industrial disasters may have been more severe, but Oceanova was groundbreaking, like you said. It could be years before we know all the consequences. We might never understand the ecological impact. It was very expensive, and 19 people died. Like it or not, you're the human face of all this. So what do you say to your critics?
I believe in what we were doing.
But was it worth the cost?